The Vikings believed in the end of the world, not metaphorically, literally. The final chapter was called Ragnarök, and it wasn't a gentle fade to black. It was poetic, violent, inevitable. In this episode, we're going to dive into what the Norse believed about the end of days, told the same way they did, with vivid description, powerful imagery, and a heartbeat of myth behind every word. But we're also going to stir the pot a little, because the deeper you go into Ragnarök, the more you start to hear echoes of trumpets, of judgments, of a world on fire that sounds a lot less like saga and more like scripture. The Vikings weren't the only ones with a fiery finish. The Bible paints its own picture of the end, and the overlap is striking. Both Norse and Christian worldviews speak of darkness, betrayal, beasts, and a final battle between good and evil. Coincidence? Influence? Something deeper. You're welcome to draw your own conclusions. Leave a comment, start a conversation, because this is more than myth. This is the end of the world as they knew it. The wind didn't blow, it gnawed. Snow fell like ash again and again, until men forgot the world was once green. No summer came, not once, then again and again. 3 years of gray skies and nothing else. Crops withered in frozen soil, livestock stiffened in barns, mothers held quiet children and whispered old prayers with cold lips. Hope began to fade and crack like branches under the weight of snow and ice. Villages turned in on themselves, kings hoarded, commoners raided. War was no longer ritual, it was hunger with a sword. Men stalked each other across the ice, not for glory, but for barley. The world began to rot, not from heat, but from the absence of light. Then the betrayals began. Brother against brother, clan against kin, sons betraying fathers, blood staining the snow in angry fits of survival. The laws of gods and men cracked and blew away like ash from the forgotten fire. Survival was the only thing that mattered. And it's in this that the echoes ring familiar. Tribulation begins soft and subtle, but it sharpens its blade. In the Norse myth, 3 winters. In Revelation, times and half a time. 3.5 years. Both tell the same cold truth. Before the fire comes, the frost will starve. The parallels between Ragnarök and the biblical account of the end are eerily similar. It's not just famine. It's not just betrayal. What's about to happen to the sun and the moon, those ancient clocks in the sky, it happens in both accounts. The frost came first, but when the skies began to fall, it doesn't start with thunder, it begins with absence. Civilizations have followed the sun since time was a whisper. The Norse were no different. They revered the sun and honored its coming and going through feasts and celebrations. In Norse lore, there's a wolf who chases the sun, always behind it, always hungry. Every sunrise marks his failure to catch the elusive fireball in the sky. But one day, no one knows which, only that it will come. He catches it. Jaws clamp shut. The sun disappears. Not in a blaze, but in a hush. No dawn, no noon, only gray. Darkness becomes all there is. Then comes his brother, another wild-eyed and tireless wolf, who through the darkness takes the moon. One swallow, one gulp. The world is left with no guide for the tide, no one to govern the night, to tell us, even though we can't see it, the sun will return. And the old texts, both Norse and scripture, agree on this. The sun shall be turned to darkness, the moon to blood, says the prophet Joel. Jesus echoes this as well. The sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. Revelation writes it bold. The 4th trumpet mutes 1/3 of the sun, the moon, and the stars. In both cases, the heavens dim. And what follows is not light, it's reckoning. The stars, they've always been there. Tiny fires pricked into black velvet, cold, sharp, and eternal. Even when the new moon gave no light, they were there. But now, one by one, they fall. Some flicker and they go out. Others streak across the heavens like burning omens, leaving trails of ash and memory. No pattern remain. The old constellations unrecognizable. The sea has lost its compass. The sky no longer points north. Sailors are now cursed to be carried by the wind and waves with no direction. And for the first time, it's not just mariners that feel lost. It's everyone. And then the sky cracks, a split you can't unsee, like a curtain being torn, a wound in the dome of the world. Something is coming, and everything else is ending. And again, the old text confirmed this is a sign. The prophet spoke of stars falling from heaven. Isaiah saw them vanish like withered figs. Jesus warned the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Revelation says they saw a dragon sweep a third of the stars down with its tail. Satan casting angels like stones from a crumbling tower. The apocalyptic book also tells of a great earthquake, and the stars, they fell like untimely fruit from a fig tree, shaken by the wind. When the stars go, they don't merely vanish, they are thrown. And when they fall, they drag hope with them. The stars may have vanished in silence and left a scar in the sky, but what falls from above has awakened what sleeps below. The ground begins to buckle. What was once firm turns fluid. Stones roll like waves, trees split, mountains collapse like sand castles at high tide. The very bones of the earth shift, and something deep below stirs, something ancient, something waiting. The world tree whose roots wind through the cosmos, through history of gods and men, it begins to shudder. Its limbs creak like old wood in the firelight. Asgard above trembles, Midgard cracks, hell below opens its mouth. Villages vanish in the blink of an eye, deep into the ground. Fjord cliffs drop into the sea. What once was land is now water. What once was safe is now swallowed. The seams between realms split wide, the barrier between death and life, past and present, dream and flesh, it's gone. The world is becoming something else. And yet, it was written, not just in the prose Edda and the poetic Edda, but in the Bible. The Lamb opens the sixth seal, and behold, a great earthquake. The sun blackened, the moon like blood, the stars falling, all in a single breath. Jesus called these the beginning of birth pains. Isaiah spoke of an earth reeling like a drunkard. Revelation says islands flee and mountains are no more. The Vikings feared the earth would one day betray them. So did the prophets. And when the ground gives way, it's not chaos. It's a summons to battle, to judgment, and to truth. It has begun. It starts with a hum too low for ears to hear, but the bones feel it. The colors twist at first. Red bends wrong, blue flees, gold starts to flinch. The bridge groans beneath the weight of the storm that's coming. The Bifrost, the arc of light that binds the world starts to tremble. Then it breaks. The crack is not heard, it is felt. In every realm, 1,000 shards of divine light, all falling like dying stars. No more crossing, no more return. The road between Asgard and Midgard is gone. The gods stand stranded. No reinforcements, no second chances. The thread that held the connection between man and Asgard is no more. The Bible tells of a similar fate. Christ is the bridge, his death made a way. But there will come a time when the bridge between man and heaven is closed once and for all. There's a mark coming, and according to Revelation, those who choose it will find the road over the bridge officially closed. John saw it. Those who take the mark of the beast, they're sealed away, not just judged, disconnected. The temple's veil tore once to open the path. The bridge was open, it was functional, and man could cross if he chose. But deep in the biblical apocalypse, the bridge is rendered useless. Not because God breaks it, but because man chooses to look for another way. The Vikings feared the Bifrost breaking. The Christians feared a similar severing when heaven becomes unreachable. That is when the war begins. They should have buried him deeper. They tried. The gods bound him. They bound him beneath the earth with the guts of his own son. A snake dripped venom above his face. The world forgot, and that was the point. But vengeance, it remembers. It remembers what history likes to forget. And Loki, he remembers everything. Now the earth shivers again, but this time not from cold. This time it cracks wide open. The trickster rises. He doesn't rise alone. He comes with them. All of them. Monsters, giants, beasts, all with no place in the world. The betrayer has become the general, not of men, but of destruction itself. He does not storm the gates. He doesn't need to. They are wide open. What follows him is not merely anger or revenge. It's permission for everything once forbidden to walk again without limits or regulation. How close does this sound to the book of Revelation? The angels are bound beneath the great river, prepared for the hour, the day, the month, the year. 4 angels, 4 agents of ruin, held in chains until the trumpet blows. These demons are waiting for a key. And who leads them when their chains are loosed? The biblical trickster, the angel of light, that is, the father of lies, Satan himself. What does Loki and his army do next? The same thing Satan and his cohorts do. They fight. There's no subtlety in the attack. Giants have no need of silence. Across the howling ice fields of where the giants reside, they rise old as frost, big as mountains, and eager to destroy. They've waited, not with patience, but with purpose. The world now cracked open means they march. The sky bleeds twilight. The seas boil. They carry clubs hewn from glaciers and bones, helmets crowned with a comet of fire. They are nature's fury made flesh. Blizzards, earthquakes, tsunamis, forest fires, and pure rage. They do not come for conquest. They come for reckoning. The gods, the halls, the myths, the will of all will fall. Not one stone will be left. And Scripture knows this all too well. Principalities and powers, spiritual beasts that oppress the messengers of God. Rulers of darkness, hosts of wickedness, waging war against God's creation. Revelation overflows with them. Unclean spirits like frogs, kings of the earth stirred by demonic winds, a dragon giving power to a beast. These are not fairy tales. These are ancient, coordinated rebellions, all unfolding across heaven and earth alike. In Norse and Christian visions, the enemy is not just bad men. It's a cosmic rebellion, order against chaos, light against everything that crawls out of the darkness. And now they're here. And what happens next sets up the climax of Ragnarök and the beasts that are larger than life. And they only bring one thing: death. The bindings were never going to be enough. Chains, spells, hope, really? They feared him from the start. This fierce creature with prophecy in his paws, he was going to do exactly what they feared he would. They tricked him, muzzled him, laughed while he bled, and potentially made their worst fears come true. Now the monstrous wolf is on the loose. His paws churn mountains to gravel. His breath melts fjords to fog. His mouth spans the heavens and the earth, wide enough to swallow day and deity alike. Odin rides to meet him, spear in hand, fate in his eye. It's not enough. The king of gods is devoured. Fenrir consumes the Allfather. And the scripture? There's another, a great red dragon, tail sweeping stars from the sky. His hunger is aimed at the child born of the woman, the Messiah, the king. He wars against heaven, cast down to earth. Still he rages, still he hungers, still he seeks to swallow the king. Revelation calls him Satan, the deceiver, the devourer, like a wolf looking for a defenseless sheep. In the account of the apocalypse, he's bound, chained for 1,000 years. He too is released, and he makes war on all who bear the name of God. He gathers an army and has it out with the king himself. Only one is left standing at the end. The Norse feared Fenrir for his role in Ragnarök. The Christians fear Satan for his ability to steal, kill, and destroy with the craftiness of a serpent. Speaking of serpents, there's one more beast that's waiting for us. The serpent at the bottom of the sea. He too will take the life of one of Asgard's heroes. The sea does not roar, it recoils. The waters churn, and then it breathes. From the blackened deep, the Midgard serpent rises. Scales like hulls of ships, eyes like drowned moons. He has circled the world since the first frost fell, biting his own tail in endless restraint. But now his hunger uncoils. The serpent surfaces not for conquest, but for the final corruption. Poison spills from his jaws, not just into rivers, but into lungs, into thoughts, into the will of man. The ocean itself turns to venom. No ships sail in it. No gods cross it. The sea belongs to the serpent now. And on the far horizon, Thor sees the serpent. He grips Mjolnir, the hammer that has shattered mountains and monsters. Thunder and lightning come against the serpent. Fury meets the flood, and steel crashes against scales. And at the end, Thor wins. He drives Mjolnir through the monster's skull. The sea serpent writhes, withers, and dies. But so does Thor. He takes 9 steps before the venom in his blood kills him. The god of strength and thunder falls, not from weakness, but from the cost of victory. And here we have one of the greatest parallels between the Norse and the Bible. Revelation 13, a beast rises from the sea, full of venomous blasphemy. The world wonders after it, worships it, and yet another, greater, comes. A carpenter with a cross, not a hammer. Christ meets the dragon, not in battle, but in sacrifice. He slays the beast not with wrath, but with blood. And like Thor, he dies. And like another Norse god, he returns, resurrected. In Norse myth, this was the end of Thor. In scripture, the end was a prelude to a new beginning. Ragnarök is almost over, and Asgard is about to burn. Everything burns eventually. He waits at the edge of everything, the fire giant. Like a volcano, he erupts. From Muspelheim he comes, wreathed in living flame, bearing a sword that does not shine but consumes. Forests flash to ash before he steps on them. Mountains bleed magma. The very air hisses trying to escape. Ragnarok's final judge is here. He does not speak, he does not wait. He's not here to rule, he's here to end it all. And he does. The gods fall. The beasts burn. The ocean boils and runs dry. He lifts his blade and all creation splits into flame. This is not rage. This is destiny dressed in fire. And the scriptures know this heat as well. Peter said it plain. The heavens will pass away with a roar, and the elements will be destroyed by fire. John saw it, everything burned up in an instant, ready for something new. In Norse vision, fire ends everything. For the Christian, it's the cleansing so things can be made right. But in the ashes, both tales whisper, this isn't the end. Not yet. The gods are not eternal. They bleed. And now they've fallen, one by one. Odin swallowed by fate. Thor dies with venom, not thunder in his veins. All the gods are gone. The world once ruled by Asgardians now belongs to no one. Until it does. Because the sea begins to breathe again. Ash cools, flames flicker, and life returns. From beneath the ruin, earth rises, not rebuilt, but remade. Mountains reshaped, rivers remember their name. 2 humans survived. They step forth into the new dawn, bearing the burden of beginning. And then Balder returns, the god of light, the god of joy, the god who was killed by Loki. He walks a world once more, and that's when everything is made new. It's made right and ready for a future. There will be a new heaven and a new earth where every tear is wiped away and death is no more. Where all false gods are shattered, all demons silenced, all darkness burned. And there remains one who was dead but no longer, not buried but risen, the God of light himself. If you enjoy Norse mythology and find yourself captivated by Ragnarök, I encourage you, pick up the book of Revelation. Read it slowly, curiously. You might be surprised how many echoes you find. Dragons, fire, betrayal, beasts from the sea, a world torn in two. There's no mistaking the Christian influence in some of the Norse source materials that we have today. Maybe it's cultural overlap, maybe it's something deeper. Whether it's myth telling prophecy or prophecy shaping myth, we may never fully know. But the parallels are too bold to ignore. And the questions they raise might just reshape how we see both stories. Share your thoughts in the comments. Start a conversation. Let your mind wander through the smoke and the frost and the fire. Ask yourself, what survives to the end? And what should I do to be ready when it comes? Until next time, be bold, be strong, and awaken the Viking in you.